गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य म आणिस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधितेन आहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Aitareya Upanishad comes in Rigveda, and in the Aitareya Brahmana, the first three adhyaya, the first three chapters, they talk about the upasana, and thereafter the fourth, fifth and sixth, these three chapters talk about the knowledge. And therefore this chapter 4, 5 and 6 of Aitareya Brahman in the second Aranyaka is called as Aitareya Upanishad. Now see, in this Sambandha Bhashya which we will take, one very important point is brought out. And what is that point? That I will tell you first, and then we will see how this point is slowly developed. See, there are three areas. One is the area of karma, action, because of which we are maintained and subjected to the repeated transmigrations from one life to another life, according to the karma phala, according to the results of action that we have accrued. And such a soul is subjected to either the human birth or the lower births or the higher births, depending upon the various type of karma. This is one aspect of the knowledge. The second is, this is called as the area of avidya. So karma falls in the area of avidya. Then the second one is, from this avidya only the Hridaya Granthi is formed. Because where there is avidya, ignorance about our own nature, then desires are prompted, erupted, and with the desires are in the heart, one is bound to do action. So, avidya kama karma. Now, this ignorance is about the self is of the nature. Very important point, please understand clearly. ignorance about the self is not that I do not know who am I, but I also have a clear mistaken identity that I am this body only. And therefore, I have to, one way or the other, live as the body, for the body, and for everybody. This is a very clear conviction. Now, with this conviction, we keep on accumulating earth and earth means not English one, Sanskrit. We keep on accumulating wealth and enjoyments, artha and the kama. So, out of the 4 purusharthas, you know by now which are the 4 purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Out of these 4, artha and kama, wealth and indulgence, or the sense of security and enjoyment, these 2 pursuits, purushartha means purushaihi arthate iti purushartha, means that which is sought after by the people, human beings, is called as purushartha. Now, when we are living as body, because we have no knowledge about our own identity, so we start living as body. Now, when we start living as body, the immediate problem comes up that I have to keep this body alive all the time. So the desire for living comes up. Everybody has this thing that may I continue to exist, may I not be eliminated. But then what is the definition of this I? This body. So for those people who are living as body, for them karma becomes the primary concern in their life. And such people are totally lost only in this karma. And they are unable to get out of it. And for such people, waking experience is the only experience. The other experiences, like the dream, the deep sleep, or the transcendental existence, these are the fantasies of the philosophers' stories. They always talk in terms of, we believe in solid reality. What is solid reality? This gross world. So, this is one aspect of the pursuits that the human beings are engaged in. Little bit evolved human beings than this mere body identification lifestyle. The second one is those one who have somehow or the other accepted that they are someone other than the body, and they are the souls residing in the body. It is from here that the Sankhya philosophy begins. Sankhya philosophy and Yoga philosophy believes that the soul or the jiva is one per head, and there are millions and millions of souls. And according to them, it is said, when the body is dropped, the soul leaves the body, the jiva leaves the body, and it goes in the antariksha. And whatever experience it has to go through, good or bad, and then when the right time, the karmas become mature, it is brought to the earth through the raindrops. The jiva enters the raindrop and falls on this mrityuloka. After it is fallen, then it enters the food, the grains, etc. And after it has entered the grains, then those grains are eaten by the human beings. And when it is eaten by the human beings, the essence of the grain is taken out, and then that jiva enters the seed of the human being. And then when that man, the sperm, is placed in the womb of the woman, then there that sperm containing the jiva may get an opportunity to conceive with the ovum in competition with so many of them, and then when it is conceived, it remains there. And this is how the jiva is born. And again he has to go through all good and bad experiences, and depending on this karma ashaya, the jati ayur bhogaha, the next life, the total number of experiences and the longevity in that next life is determined on the basis of this karma. So this is the second layer of understanding. Acceptance of jiva as a real entity, and therefore in Sankhya the Prakriti is different from individual to individual. But in case of the Vedanta Shastra, we say there is but one Prakriti. There are not too many Prakritis. And there are not too many Jivas also. So, the liberation for the second category of people who accept Jiva as the entity, a reality, for them there is a second path. And that path is the path of Vidya. What is Vidya? Vidya is Upasana. Then those seekers are told, you should do Yogabhyas, then you should do the Kriya Yoga, and thereby you should become purified. And when you become purified, Tanmaha ityupasita Mahan bhavati tannama ityupasita namyante tasmai kamaha tan anne ityupasita annavan bhavati. And in this manner, various worlds, various areas of life are given as options to them. Then these jivas, having purified, they go in the higher realm of relative existence. Please understand, relativity is there as the human beings or as the gods. Getting out of this Martyaloka, this mortal world, and going to the heavens, Suryalok, etc., is also a relative existence. It is something like living in Khopoli, or living in Andheri, or living in Cups Parade. You are living in Maharashtra. But there are also a lot of difference. When you live in Khopoli, all the soot and all the impurities and the chemical things are suspended in the air, and therefore you will have perpetual problems. When you are staying in Andheri, you will get nothing except congestion, traffic congestion everywhere. So, in the same manner, whether you are living as a mortal in the relative existence, or you are living as the gods but in the relative existence, it is one and the same. The second part is called as the pursuit in dharma. So what was the first was when we are living as body, artha and kam. When we are living as the soul, then the yoga and the dharma. Therefore, all those who are practicing yoga, they are very strict about the things. extremely, like yama, niyama, asana, pranayam. Now all these things are the conditioning which are taken by the jiva, and they have to be maintained, purified, clean, continuously in that only. See the Hatha Yoga you are studying. How much torture and everything is being done for the purification of the body. And justification can be given for everything in this world. There is nothing that cannot be justified. This is the second path of upasana. So this path of upasana is called as the Vidya. Do you remember in which Upanishad? Ishavasya Upanishad. Vidyam cha avidyam cha yastad vedo bhayagam saha avidyaya mrutyum tirtva vidyaya mrutam ashnute. So there, if you remember, we have told you, avidya is the area of karma and vidya is the area of upasana. Avidyaya mrutyum tirtva. By karma, you get out of the lethargy, laziness, and you seek something higher. And what is higher? Upasana. So between karma and upasana is considered higher. Why? Because upasana inaugurates another possibility of higher life, and our relation with this mortal world is temporary. Therefore, the second path is the path of upasana and yoga, which is aimed at attainment of relative immortality. Vidyaya amritam ashnute means what? As the mortals, we live for Shatagam Sama, 100 years. But as the gods, as Brahmaji, as the Lord Death, as Indra, as Agni Devata, as Varun Devata, our life there becomes in millions and millions of years in comparison to the human existence. And therefore it is called as immortality. But that is not absolute immortality, that is relative immortality. It is something like, every year we see the crabs in our Kaivalya Dham. This is the time, rainy season, when the crabs come out. And their life is how much? Only a particular period. After one season, gone. But we are seeing it for many, many years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Now those whose life is for one season, in comparison to them, we who are living for 100 years, we have become immortal as compared to them. So this is relative immortality, not absolute. So this is the second stage in the pursuit by the human beings, wherein we get out of the notion that I am the body and we start living as I am the jiva. And once we start living that I am the jiva, then all the thing which will be purifying the jiva is spiritual practice. Now in this comes the Sankhya Shastra, the Yoga Shastra, the Upasana Shastra, the Jaina, the Buddhas, and Islam as well as the Christianity. They are only going up to this level. Even Arya Samajis and Brahmo Samaj, they go only up to this level. Or even the Tantra, to some extent. One part of Tantra goes only up to this. So they will be accepting the Jiva Bhava, the soul aspect, and considering the Jiva as the target of the spiritual progress. Then the Jiva is told, so karma you have done, therefore you are born in this life. Now do better karma, you will go to the higher life. Then what is the better karma? Tapasvadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriya Yogaha. Then Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. By these, when you become purified, and then the Jiva, when he leaves the body, he goes to the higher world. And everything is so beautifully, clearly brought out. That those who are the rogis, they leave the body from the apana, from the lower portion. Then those who are the yogis, they leave the body from the head, crown, and you can see the changes in their agya chakra and all that. So, they leave the body. Thereby, they are subjected to coming and going. See? And as long as coming and going is there, it doesn't matter where you come and where you go. Isn't it? Whether every day you have to go to a shop or market or job, or you have to go for a walk. Coming and going is associated. It is not eternal. Then the third stage comes. And what is the third stage? That is called as the Parama Purushartha. Parama Purushartha is moksha. Moksha from what? Now this is one very good point, has come be extremely understanding. Moksha from the Jiva Bhava. See? Liberation we talk about. Liberation from the world, no. World has not troubled us. Liberation from the Jiva Bhava. That I am the soul, I am the limited, I am transmigrating, I have done papa, I have to do punya, I have to go here and there. As long as this Jiva Bhava, I is there is no freedom, no liberation. See? This point became very clear to me the other day when I was in some other country, maybe USA, Australia, somewhere. Those people left India and gone there. One lady told me, Swamiji, see, in India it was so, this thing, that now here it is so good. I said, very good, continue. We'll talk about it later. So you leave one place and you feel you have attained liberation from India. But then I is still there. Then you go to other country and settle there. See, here everything is so nice, you go to the office, you don't have to pay money, everything is all right, and there is no corruption, there is no adulteration, the roads are very clean, you have to clean your toilets. So nice it is here, And as your children start growing and you expect the culture and tradition of our India to be seen in the Western society, there they are not able to digest that. I was in South Africa, there was one girl, she came to me, I don't know where, Cape Town or somewhere, and see her problem. She said, Swamiji, I have a big problem and I don't know how to solve it. I said, what is the problem? He said, my problem is, please don't tell anybody, Swamiji. I said, okay, I will not tell anybody. Therefore, I am not telling you her name. So, her problem was, Swamiji, here in our schools and colleges, all the girls talk about their relations with the boys. How many boys I have gone with, and what has happened, what has not happened. And we are Indians, we are Hindus, we are not supposed to get into it. And then, we feel so awkward and out of the place, that as if we don't belong to this world. And we feel a kind of a complex. Now what should we do? I don't know what. Please tell me. And I know what our culture tells is right. We should not get into all those things. But this is also right that I have to stay in that society. I can't run away. And I can't keep away from everybody, because I have to live in that world. Now please help me what I should do, Please tell me. I said, didn't you ask this thing to your mom and dad? Mom and dad, they will take a gun and shoot me. There is nothing that I can talk to. or this is my problem, and I know you will help me out and all that. Now see, the problem here in India, these things are bad, so I leave India, I am liberated. But there, you leave this mortal world and go to heavens. But in heaven also there is Kaf Parade, there is Andheri, and there is Khopuli. Very clear. We have this wrong notion that if you go to USA, it is most prosperous society. The number of beggars that you can see there is far more than what we have in India. So, the liberation is not from bad to better. The liberation is of this Jiva Bhava. Unless this Jiva Bhava is rejected, we have not completed our spiritual quest. And that is the third pursuit called as the Parama Purushartha Moksha. Now, in the Vedas, the thoughts are distributed according to this classification. Some thoughts are concerning and for those who are living as body. Now, how they should live in this world? So, for them it is told, you should have moral values, you should not steal other people's things, and if you do that, you will be getting the punishment, and the punishment will be you will be born again, and you will be born still in the worst yonis. Do you see here many people who are born with the diseases and born to the dirty families and all that? Do you know why? It is not God who is crazy. In the last life, these people must have done something wrong and now they are paying for that. So their understanding is only what? That I am the body and I have to live comfortably in this body. So for them, karma, 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 and the law of karma, and then going from one body to another body. And the question, Swamiji, what happens after death? I said, if you die, I'll burn you. If I die, you decide what you have to do. No, Swamiji, not like that. What happens after death? I said, is death an object or what? You tell me what is death? Suppose I ask you, I have ignorance. Ignorance, is it a tangible substance or what? Ignorance of what? Similarly, death of what? Whenever you ask you questions, you confuse us. Our question becomes so stupid and we feel we are dumb. I say, don't feel that way. So, the first pursuit or the guidance given in the Vedas is regarding karma. For those who are identified with body and living as body. Second, those who have accepted themselves to be the Jiva and they want to go in the higher heavens and all that, if you go and kill other people, you will be having a place in the heaven with the God. That is Upasana. And those who are following Upasana, they are not afraid of death. Very important. Why these terrorists are able to do it so strongly? Only because of this. It has been injected in their system right from childhood when they were trained for this job. That if you die in this particular manner, you will be going to heaven. So that person has this notion in his mind, even the body dies, who cares? I continue to live in the heaven and better than this Indonesia. See? So this is the growth in the thoughts. And this is called as the Upasana Kanda, And after this is done, then there are few people, not many, very rare few. They want to know who is this soul. Like I can see my body. What do you mean by the soul goes to heaven? Who is this soul? Which is that soul? What is the soul? Who am I? And when this inquiry is kindled, then he enters the third area called as the Upanishads. This is how the Upanishads begin. Upanishad means Vedanta. So Veda Prarambha is karma, Veda Madhya is upasana, and Vedanta is liberation from the earlier two, karma and upasana. This time it's a wonderful thought. So it is not liberation. Liberation from what? Karma and upasana. Liberation from karma means you are no more identified with the body and living in the gross world only at the waking level state. No. You have now expanded yourself that I am not living only in this body for the first time, but I have lived in many bodies for many years. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grunnati naroparani. In the same manner, when one cloth has become old, the man throws it away, takes up another one. In the same manner, this jiva is going from one body to another body, enjoying life. He doesn't die. Then the question comes, who is this jiva? Enter the third thought, and that is Vedanta. So, Veda Prarambha, Veda Madhya and Vedanta. These are the three stages in thought evolution. So, what is the position of the earlier two? Now this is the question which is taken by Bhagavan Shankaracharya for analysis in the Sambandha Bhashya. So to begin the introduction, I have given you half an hour introduction, so that this will become very clear. Otherwise you will get lost. Now I will read, you please follow me, don't repeat. See how it is done and how the thought process, how the things are presented, etc. Parisamaptam karma saha apara brahma vishaya vijnanena saisha karmanaha jnana sahitasya paragati ukta vijnana dvarena upasamhita. So, before this Upanishad starts from the 4th chapter, what was done in the first 3 chapters of the second Aranyaka of this Aitareya Brahman? What was done? Because when you say, therefore you should not do this. So before therefore there has to be some thought. You cannot write a letter, my dear friend, therefore I am very unhappy, or therefore I am very happy, and post that letter. You will say, what crazy? Therefore what? Did you forget to write earlier things or what? Or it was deleted while printing on the computer? So when this Aitareya Upanishad, Upanishadic thought begins, before that what was there? So there were 3 chapters, and in that 3 chapters what was said? Parisamaptam karma. So up to 3rd chapter, the karma saha apara brahma vishaya vijnanena. So apara brahma is the Hiranyagarbha upasana. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham. That is the upasana. It is not the Brahma jnana. So, parisamaptam karma saha apara brahma vishaya vijnanena. So up to here, the karma and upasana of the Hiranyagarbha, of the relative immortality, was dealt with. So, parisamaptam. Now, sa esha karmana jnana sahitasya paragati ukta vijnana dvarena upasamhita. And this is called as the karma with knowledge. Therefore, jnana sahitasya karmana. Esha gati. So, esha jnana sahitasya karmana gati. This is the destination, this is the ultimate that is achieved through the karma associated with upasana. Now see, there are two types of karma. Rather, not karma. There are two types of jnanam. First I'll tell jnanam, then karma. Which are those two types of knowledges or the jnana? One knowledge demands the action to be followed after the knowledge. For example, you should, if you do pranayam, your nadi shodhanam will take place and then the mind will be able to be quietened. Okay, understood. Is the mind quietened? No. Didn't you do pranayam? No, I didn't do. I thought only by hearing it will happen. No, you have to do pranayam. So, one type of knowledge is which demands action after knowledge. Only by knowledge nothing happens. And this knowledge is again of two types. I mean the karma is of two types. Which is the two types? One is related to this world and second is related to other world. So karma related to this world falls in the purview of the yoga abhyasa, and karma related to the other world falls in the purview of the upasana or devotion. See, when we are told, we read our Patanjali Yoga Darshan, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tannirodha. So practice Abhyasa Vairagya. And this Chitta Vritti Nirodha we have to take place in this life, not posthumous. So this knowledge demands action, which is the area of yoga abhyas. And the second is, if you do this karma, if you do this yajna, if you observe this fast, if you do this much chanting, you will be going to heaven. You will be going to Saket or the Golok. Now this is the upasana. And how is this upasana? Knowledge followed by the action leading you to the other world is called as upasana. Make it very clear, then you will never have any doubt about what is what. So first is knowledge, and this knowledge is of two types. One which will lead you to the yogaabhyas, the second which will lead you to upasana. Now the important thing is, this knowledge is about what? Is it about the absolute or the relative? So here it is said, Apara Brahma Vishaya Vijnanena, Apara Brahma Vishaya Jnana. Apara Brahma is Hiranyagarbha, conditioned consciousness. Or Ishvara, or God, whatever you call. So here this Apara Brahma Vishaya or Hiranyagarbha is the most important factor in the karma, in the upasana and in yogaabhyas. They talk about this as the Bhagavan, they talk about this as the God. Even in the Siddha Marga, they talk about the Hiranyagarbha. And therefore you see in our Yoga Shastra, Patanjali Yoga Darshan, many Siddhis are spoken of. Now what are the Siddhis? Siddhis are pertaining to the world. See? When by the particular Sayyama Abhyas, I conquer my hunger and thirst. That means I had earlier hunger and thirst, now I have conquered. But you are still with the hunger and thirst. Parabrahma Paramatma is that which is not subjected to hunger and thirst. Whether hunger is there or not there, it makes no difference. See? Therefore, this Apara Brahma Vishaya Vijnana, the realization of this manifest reality called as Hiranyagarbha or the God, is the subject matter of this karma and upasana. This is what was spoken of in the first 3 chapters. Now, this is one point which very few, rare few are able to appreciate and go beyond this. That is why very rare few people are following the path of this inquiry according to Vedanta Shastra. And such people, what they do? They say, oh, Vedanta is what? Only talking, no experience. They have got anger, they have got hunger, they have got accumulation, they have got comforts, and they call that they are Vedanti. And those who are leading a life of poverty and dependence and meekness and goody-goodiness, they are evolved. Now see, where is the attention? Attention is only on the conditionings, not on the absolute. Whether the pot is containing Ganga Jala, milk or a whiskey, the space is not disturbed. In the same manner, we have seen this in Panchadashi. The Brahmajnani, Brahmavid Bhavati, for him it doesn't matter whether the body is dropped in the Ganges or he leaves the body in Kashi or he dies in the house of a prostitute, it makes no difference. Because he has already burned the body identification in the fire of knowledge. Recently we have seen in our Vivek Chudamani. So, Apara Brahma Vijnana talks about this as the God realization. And in this area, when a person is evolving, he is able to cater the need of the masses, because masses are the victims of their own prakriti. And here is one person who has conquered the prakriti and he is able to fulfill the desire in the relative world. And actually, what is the problem? Beauty? Beauty is freedom from desire. Now, fulfilling the desire is superior or freedom from desire is superior? Therefore, this karma and upasana, you do karma and you do upasana, you will go to the heavens and all that thing, this can attract only to those who have accepted Jiva Bhava as the real. And then, who is this Jiva? We don't want to know about it. They will not talk about who is the Jiva, what is the nature of the Jiva. Jiva, Amsha, the part of the Lord. Now, what is the part of the infinite? Part of the infinite is only imagined. Infinite is space, north, east, west, south, these are the parts. See? So, in the infinite space, north, east, west, south, these are imagination, they are not real. In the same manner, Mamaivansho Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. So, in this world, my amsha, my part alone has become Jiva. And who are you? I am infinite. So what the Lord is telling, that on me, the infinite, Jiva Bhava is superimposed by the ignorant people. This is what the Lord means. But we get carried away by this theme. Oh, there are so many Jivas, and when all the Jivas will be liberated, and then there will be queue in the heaven, and therefore they are making the graves, and they put very heavy stone on each grave, so that when the last day comes, when they will be shooting toward the God, the other fellows will be busy in reviewing the stone, and I will go further. See? This is Sa Esha Karmana Jnana Sahitasya Paragati Ukta Vijnana Dvarena Upasamhita. Ukta Vijnana means, Ukta means prana. Prana means life. So, life of what? Life in the mortal relativity and life in the heavens, which is the relative immortality. This is called as Ukta Vijnana. So they go out from India and go to USA. And after going to USA, then their visa is over, no more job, and come back to India, frustrated, continuously comparing. Free yourself from the body identification and the Jiva Bhava. That is the ultimate, that is the goal of life. And therefore Upanishad tells, the third step is what? Na tasya prana utkramanti. See? The karmi goes from one body to another body by the force of his prarabdha karma. The yogi or those who are following the upasana, they have chosen and acquired the ability to take out the prana from the body and go into the higher world. And thereby the jiva bhava is kept intact. And as long as jiva bhava is there, there will be papa, punya, dharma, adharma, gati, agati, everything will be same. Whether you live in India or you go to USA, hunger, thirst is the same problem. There is no change in that. So, sa esha karmana jnanate sahitasya paragatihi ukta vijnana dvarena upasamhita. Up to the third chapter, Upasamhita was summarized in this manner. So what was said in the first three chapters of this second Aranyaka of Aitareya Brahman is this. I summarize in one or two statements. There are three types of pursuits. One pursuit is based on body identification, I am the body notion. That is called as karmagati. Second is that I am the jiva, and for that it is the upasana and the yoga gati. And the third one is then what is the nature of this jiva? And then we come to know that jiva bhava is only an imagination, it is not real. The reality behind the jiva is unborn, ajopi san, avyayatma, bhutanam ishwaropi san. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina masthani sarva bhutani pashyame yogameshwaram. So this absolute reality is the nature of this jiva, and for that purpose begins the Aitareya Upanishad. This is how these are the three things to be clearly, distinctly, perfectly recognized, understood. So saisha karmanaha jnana sahitasya paragatihi ukta vijnana dvarena upasamhita. Now, this is established by some quotations from the earlier three chapters which we do not have, but we will read. What is said in the earlier three chapters somewhere? Etat satyam brahma pranakhyam. So this conditioned consciousness is the satyam, that is the real Brahman. So when the jiva goes to the Hiranyagarbha, merges, he has attained liberation. See, this thought you will get more clear here also in this Upanishad, and also when we study Kathopanishad. In Kathopanishad, Nachiket goes to his guru death, Yamaraj. And there Yamaraj sees the dispassion in this child. Shobhava martyasya yadantagaitat sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha api sarvam jivitam alpameva tavayvavaha tava nritya gite. Hey Antaka, O death, all the temptations that you are giving me are meaningless for me. You keep it for yourself. I don't want. I want absolute. When this is said by that young seeker of truth, Yamaraj says, I wish I was like you when I was seeking the truth. But I was tempted by this power of death. Everybody will be frightened because of me. And I will be the controller. I will be the caretaker of the whole world. What a great joy it is to be the president. And therefore, all my spiritual practice, I have put forward efforts. But out of that, what I have sought? This stupid state of being the god of death. Until this assignment is over, I cannot go. And you will be going in front of me. And I will be still holding on the dead bodies. See? Therefore, this Agni Devata, then Prithvi Devata, or all the Panchamahabhutas, or all the great powers, they fall in the relative immortality and not in the absolute immortality. Therefore, Nachiket says, how long will you keep me alive? You are telling me I will give you infinite life. What is the meaning of infinite? Do you know? I will be here in this world as long as you are the Lord of death. The moment you die away, some other fellow will come, then I will be transferred immediately. So now suppose I am living 100 years, because of your grace I may live 1 million years. But after 1 million years, you will have to vacate this chair, and then I will be also thrown. Oh, he is chamcha, throw him away. Think. That is to be clearly understood. Therefore, this pursuit through yoga and upasana is definitely superior than living as a mortals in this world. But that is not the ultimate. That is in between. And that is what is called as Apara Brahma Vishay Vijnana. So, Saisha Karvana Jnana Saitasya Paragati Ukta Vijnana Dvarena Upasamhita Etat Satya Brahma Pranakhyam Esha Eko Devaha. And this Hiranyagarbha is the only Deva. Hiranyagarbha Samavartatagre Bhutasya Jatam Patireka Asit. See? This is the relative immortal state. But still it is in the relativity. So, etasya eva pranasya sarve deva vibhutayaha. So, from this one Prime Minister alone, all other ministers are the vibhutis of this Prime Minister. How come? Prime Minister alone appoints the other ministers. So, if you have the approach directly to the Prime Minister, other ministers will be taken care of. But remember, how long the Prime Minister will help you? Till he is in that chair. It is not absolute. So, etasya vai pranasya sarve deva vibhudayaha etasya pranasya atma bhavan gachan devata appeti. And ultimately, etasya pranasya atma bhavan gachan. So, realizing the oneness with this deva, the Hiranyagarbha, all the devas ultimately merge in this Hiranyagarbha. So, you want to have Agni Upasana, and then you will get the propitiation of the blessings of the Agni. See? And then what will happen? Agni will give you a special protection. What is the special protection? You will not be burned. See, like, our Shirdi Sai Baba. He had the freedom that fire will not burn him. Or fire will burn him. He has the freedom. Because he has done the Agni Upasana. And by that, the Agni Devata is under his control completely. And therefore, such great masters, they have done these Ukta Prana or Ukta Vijnana. So, Pranasya etasya sarve deva vibhudaya etasya pranasya atma bhavan gachan. So, becoming one with these Hiranyagarbha, all the chota mota gods, anya devata, appeti iti uktam, they ultimately go back to the same Hiranyagarbha. Saha ayam devata apyaya lakshanaha parapurushartha esha moksha. And this realization of the Hiranyagarbha is called as liberation. Now this is not a final statement, it is going further. So ayam devata apyalakshanaha parapurushartha. So it is something like this, eyes are presided over by the Surya. Please understand this point, very, very important. This is not liberation. What I told you, that is liberation. Here the teacher will bring this point and cut it. So, when I am awake, the eyes are presided over by sun. The nose is presided over by Ashwini Kumar. The speaking tongue is presided over by the fire, Agni Devata. The Rasana tongue, the tasting instrument, is presided over by Varuna Devata, and so on. Now, all these Devatas, for liberation means what? When the Devatas go back to the Hiranyagarbha in the deep sleep. So when in the deep sleep all the functions of all the senses are withdrawn, then that is a temporary moksha for the eyes, for the ears, for the nose, for the skin. And when they are liberated for 2, 3, 4 hours, and then they become fresh. And again when the life begins, what will they do? Again Surya, Lord Sun will come and start illuminating colors and forms. The Varuna will come and start testing all the tests. The Agni will come and start speaking all nonsense. And this is akhanda, going on and on and on. Is this liberation? See? Please understand, this is very, very important. So, those who are following this Ukta Vijnana, those who are doing the Upasana of Hiranyagarbha, those who want to go to heaven, etc., going to heaven is according to the karma. Attainment of Hiranyagarbha is according to yoga and Upasana. See? Heaven is the result of karma in this world. By Upasana and the yoga, we go to that Hiranyagarbha where we are absorbed. This is what our Yoga Shastra says, Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam chitta vritti nirodha paschat. The moment the chitta vritti nirodha has taken place, all the gods in the form of the Surya, Varuna, Agni, Ashwini Kumar, Digdevata, Vishnu, Brahma, all of them are absorbed in deep sleep in the Hiranyagarbha, the undivided consciousness. And again when the waking state begins, again all of them are projected out. So this temporary sleep for few hours is called as liberation in this approach to life. So, sahayam devata apyaya lakshanaha parapurushatha esha mokshaha sacha ayam yathoktena jnana karma samuchaya sadhavena praptavyaha na ataha param asti iti eke pratipannaha tan nira चिकीर्षिहु उत्तरम केवल आत्म विज्ञान विधानार्थम आत्मा वा इदम इत्याह. Now to negate this wrong notion about liberation, the next topic begins, which is Upanishad. What is that? We'll see in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.